Man, sometimes I get so worked up in my pre-production that I just have to just stop it and start to pod because I saw something so stupid as I was preparing to pod. I was listening to my music. I was getting into my zen zone. Ooh, that's a hard word to say if you have a list. Zen zone, right? I'm trying to, zen out, get right. Humble, 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 humble. The last drop of water. Anyways, and then I see this post that the National Black Guide picked up. I want to shout them out too because they deserve to be called out for posting this filth. Tom Brady and Brett Favre can have multiple retirements, while Colin Kaepernick can't even play to retire. Wonder white that is. All right, Brady's retired once, and Brett Favre did play around with retirement. Sure. Brady's the GOAT. Brett Favre was in that conversation for a while during his career. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the game. He's an all-decade guy. He's a Hall of Famer. Brady will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. 8 rings between the two. 7 belong to Brady, 1 belongs to Favre. A bunch of MVPs. You understand what I'm saying? Brett Favre almost had the Vikings in the Super Bowl, but, that franchise is cursed, so no Super Bowl. But I don't want to focus on the football of this conversation because this is not a football podcast today. What I want to focus on is this clout and what the people will do for clout. I have this whole thing about put the bottle down, and it's kind of, it's centered around alcohol use, right? It's centered around, hey, drink less, you're drunk, go home. But we got to stop tooting this clout, man. Because as we saw over the weekend, some guys at a service academies on spring break got hospitalized because they had some bad coke and it had some Fenty in it, And I've been telling y'all this clout, it hits harder than cocaine. But if y'all keep snorting this clout, one of these days, you're going to get a bad batch and it's going to have that fatty in it. And then instead of you thinking you're going to be high, I can't feel my face, you ain't going to be able to feel anything because you're going to be in a hospital dead, and then you're going to end up at the morgue. And that's what clout is doing to people because people will do anything for clout. Offset said it a long time ago. But it's really getting disgusting that you would make such a comparison just to get some clicks and some retweets, because if you truly believe that, well, you're stupid. You're stupid, okay? Comparing all-time great quarterbacks who were all-time great over an extended period of time to somebody who was good, really good for a short period of time, who did get blackballed, who should not have had to leave the league when he did, it's not the same thing. If you wanted to take a football headline from today, you go Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky, we said he was awful, he was terrible, but somehow he just signed a 2-year deal to go play for Pittsburgh. But Kaepernick can't come back from, his career setback. That's a great comparison, and I would totally rock out with you. But no, you want to compare Colin Kaepernick to somebody who's not in the same tier of player. And I say the same tier of player because you have to understand there's tiers to this thing, right? Meek Mill said we don't rock the same clothes. We don't, it's levels to this, right? You have to take the level seriously here because the amount of talent you have, the amount of production that you provide creates the amount of BS that people will put up with you. The crazy hot index, smoking hot girl, you'll deal with a little bit of crazy. She got some good stuff on her, you'll deal with a little bit of crazy. But if she all right, she just average. Hey, baby, that crazy ain't. No, I can't really go for that. You gotta go. And unfortunately, the same thing happened to Colin Kaepernick. His production dropped, and he took a stance that was unpopular. So therefore, his tolerance decreased, and he just got kicked out of the league. But we've got to stop trying to say something just to get a yes, or get a retweet or get a like or get a, he had a good point there. as I'm talking on the podcast, boy, you talk about somebody being a hypocrite and self-serving. But when we say these things and we say what we say, it needs to have some substance to it. That's all. Yes, you want the like. Yes, you want the retweet. Yes, you want people to enjoy what you're talking about, but have some substance to what you're saying. Know what you're talking about. And if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. Just shut up. Because all this clout isn't worth it. I don't, maybe you can monetize clout, but I don't really know how. Maybe it's like an NFT. It's one of those things that has value, but you can't really explain its value, but it's there because people take it seriously. I guess we'll go with that one. And speaking of a clout chaser, somebody who would do any and everything for clout. Let's talk about Jussie. Man, Juicy. I told y'all I made that up. Dave Chappelle didn't make that up. You can check check the stats. My team winning. Not really, but we on the court. But Juicy is served. Justice is served. Juicy is served. Free Jussie Smollett. So y'all know I've been waiting on this day for a long time. I was waiting on Juicy to get sentenced so I can come here and say, ha. I think they let him off easy, 150 days. A fine and some community service. I really do think they let him off easy because I think the gravity of what he did is so heavy, it's so damning, and it can truly reverberate through generations. And I'm not saying this to be hot takey. I'm not saying this to over sensationalize something. But what he did, this was reported on a national level, This was talked about for weeks and, in months and years coming back to it, man. And it was just really damaging to America and especially the Black community and the LGBTQ plus community. And if I left out a letter, I'm sorry. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I stand with y'all today. Okay. Because here's the thing, man. Fake martyrs are worse than Uncle Tom. A fake martyr is worse than a sellout. Because believe it or not, Uncle Tom can go in there and garner good favor with the boss man, right? Because the thing about the Uncle Tom may not be looking out for his people. The Uncle Tom may not reflect the values of his people, but the Uncle Tom looks like his or her people. So when other people see the Uncle Tom and they talk to the Uncle Tom and they accept the Uncle Tom as part of the other culture, that Uncle Tom can open the door for other people who look like that Uncle Tom to get a chance. Now, don't take that as me supporting Uncle Tom and cooning and bootlicking and trusting. No, I'm not saying that. But I do see the value in it, not just for the individual, but for the group. Okay? Now, a fake martyr? No, sir. No, sir. A fake martyr is one of the worst human beings that you can be. They are some of the worst scum walking this earth. I have absolutely no respect for anybody who fakes a hate crime just to get clout and then they want to be a martyr. Leaving out of the courtroom. I am not guilty. I am not suicidal. You are not suicidal. Who asked? Who do you think you are? You think you Jeffrey Epstein with the little black book? Obviously not, because guess what? They haven't revealed the contents of Jeffrey Epstein's little black book, but they revealed the contents of your little black crime. Your little fake ass hate crime got exposed. Why? Because you ain't Epstein. You don't run a tight ship. You got loose lips. And I'm not saying that to big up Epstein, because Epstein, if everything they say about him is true, he's a sick mother lover. But this Jussie Smollett thing, dog, let the lie go. You had countless opportunities to let the lie go. You could have, you didn't have to show up to the police department with the noose around your neck after allegedly taking pictures at your house and stuff. It was Klan members. It was MAGA guys. Man, look. Do you not understand you doing some fake stuff like that? It takes away the credibility of the real victims. Because there are real victims out there who are being taken advantage of, and they want to cry to somebody, but because you've cried wolf, their ticket's not getting cashed no more. You understand that? Because you want to keep crying wolf, there's real sheep out there that are going to get attacked by the wolves. But nah, you want to be the victim. You want to be Black Tupac or Gay Tupac, whatever you call yourself. You want to be the voice of Black LGBTQ rights. And guess what? You just silence the voices of those who really need to be heard. But now we're listening to you. Because all you want to do is toot freaking clout. But guess what? Sometimes that clout is laced with fentanyl. And Jussie, your clout was laced with fentanyl, and guess what? They had to sit you down. You couldn't just keep tooting for that clout. No, sir, that clout ran out. And now you're locked away. Well, I think you need to be. And then I see, oh my God. I see Taraji P. Henson, his Empire co-star, one of them shows I never watched. Didn't care about. Didn't know who Jussie Smollett was until this came out. And she posted a message saying, #free Jussie. And a full-throated call for its release. Smollett's reportedly, blah, 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 blah. I am not here to debate you on his innocence, but we can't agree that the punishment does not fit the crime. Emmett Till was brutally beaten, ultimately murdered because of a lie, and none of the people involved with his demise spent one day in jail, even after Carolyn Bryant admitted her claims were false. She even added, no one was hurt or killed during Jussie's ordeal. He has already lost everything. To me, as an artist, not being able to create that in itself is punishment enough. He can't get a job. No one in Hollywood will hire him. And again, as an artist who loves to create, that is prison. My prayer is that he is freed and put on house arrest and probation, because in this case, that would seem fair. Please, #free Jussie. Please, #shut the fuck up. Taraji, shut the fuck up. He created the environment in which he cannot create. He wrote a script for a really bad movie that nobody liked once they saw, and it was so bad, everybody said, you know what, man? You're a pretty shitty person, and I don't want my brand to be associated with you or yours. So guess what? You're no longer allowed to work here anymore. And it takes me back to the conversation I had last week with Parlay Pete. When I said all of you feel so entitled to so many things that you take as a right. It's not a right, it is a privilege. It is a privilege for Jussie Smollett to be able to be employed to be creative. It is a privilege for him to work in Hollywood. It is a privilege for him to be on a show, be in a movie, make a song. It is a privilege to do all of these things. Well, it's not a privilege to make a song. You can make a song whenever you want, but it's a privilege for it to be pushed and listened to. It's a privilege. People are so entitled to things that aren't theirs. If nobody wants to work with this man, so what? That still doesn't mean he shouldn't go sit down. Because again, she says no one was hurt in his crime. No one was harmed. Yes, nobody physically was harmed that day. But the plight that he was fighting for, the plight that I come on here and fight for, he hurt. He damaged. He's killing. You talk about misinformation. You talk about wanting to censor misinformation from the internet. We'll get into that later. This is the type of misinformation that needs to be censored if you're going to censor stuff from society. But no, we want to give them a pass. We want to pick and choose when we want to listen. Now, we can talk all day about other crimes that have occurred in this country that have not been properly prosecuted. That's a different conversation for me. Okay? I'm not here to defend a criminal just because another criminal got away with a crime. Now, if we want to take a frontal assault on the system, let's go. Let's attack the system. Let's attack the system, but let's not use a criminal, a liar, a fake martyr, a false prophet as the linchpin for our attack. No, because he's wrong. He deserves to be where he's at. Don't compare him to Emmett Till. Don't compare his case to Emmett Till. Okay? Now, does the lady who admitted that she lied on Emmett Till deserve to be locked up? Yes. Put her right next to Jussie. And maybe they can make a better movie that somebody will watch together. But no, yeah, she needs to be locked up. I'm not defending her. But just because she needs to be locked up doesn't mean that he don't need to be locked up for what he did. And yes, what she did was obviously worse than what he did. Obviously worse. And Emmett Till's family is still fighting to this day to get her locked up. But let's attack the American justice system. And let's point at cases like that where somebody is wrongfully roaming the streets free. Let's use an instance where somebody is wrongfully arrested, wrongfully detained, wrongfully imprisoned to attack the system. But don't attack the system when the system is getting it right. But so often we want to win in the court of public opinion. And I don't understand it because the court of public opinion does not get you a win in the court of law. Now, in today's society, 24-hour news cycle, smartphones, there's no real way of sequestering a jury. So maybe attempts at winning in the court of public opinion can influence the jury so you can win in a court of law. Maybe that's what we're doing, but I think far too much time is focused on winning the hearts and minds of your fans because guess what? They're going to rock with you anyway. The people who thought that Jussie was innocent, they still think he's innocent. Those who thought that Jussie was guilty, they think he's guilty. And the few rational ones like of us, like myself, who make we have a stance once we get the information. But at the same time, we go, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to put my trust in the system to some degree. And whatever comes of it, more times than not, I'm going to rock with. But let the information come out before we make a decision. But no, we want to get ahead of it. We want to shape the narrative, and we want to take what happens in the court of opinion as the court of law. And you see people get here arguing. For instance, Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Everybody has such a strong opinion. But I'm like, you don't even have the facts. Some of the facts aren't even available through the court of law. So how do you have such a strong opinion when you have no facts? Well, I just know that Meg would never. You don't know what Meg would do. I just know Tory would do. Look at him. He's short. He's angry. He got a chip on his shoulder. His girl, like, okay, what does that have to do with what he did to Meg? You don't know that. So shut up. But back to the court of public opinion versus the court of law. And the reason why I bring this up, because you got to make your apology as loud as your lawsuit. Now, Recently, Chris Brown came under fire for allegedly sexually assaulting a young lady. The lawsuit comes out, it gets loud. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell a victim what to do when they've been sexually assaulted, sexually harassed. None of that. I'm not going to tell a victim what to do. But I reserve the right to be skeptical of a victim who goes the civil route without going the criminal route. Now, if you go both, I support you. Because if you feel like you need to be compensated for the hurt and the harm that was done to you, go after it. But I hope you do it to the brokey, the guy who works a 9 to 5, the guy who works part-time down at the local parts store, the same way you do it to a multi-millionaire entertainer. I truly do. But again, you're going to do what you're going to do. But make your apology as loud as your lawsuit. So Chris Brown puts out some text messages and some voice memos from the young lady that essentially cleared his name in the public eye. He won the court of public opinion. Then her attorney dropped her, and I'm pretty sure this case has gone away. And what does Chris Brown do? Like, hey, man, I need y'all to speak up now that I'm off. Just like y'all had so much to say when y'all thought that I was a bad boy doing bad things to good people. But we don't do that because the false allegation is so much more fiery. It gets you more clout, man. It gets you more attention than somebody recanting, clearing somebody's name. We cheer for OJ getting beating his case. We cheer for Michael Jackson beating his case. How come we can't cheer for entertainers up to date beating the case? Why do we want to pile on these people? Now, it's one thing if he did it, then go through the process and we'll put you in the cell right next to Jussie. Okay? We'll call it Celebrity Row. You can go hang out with Jussie. Y'all can do what y'all do, okay? But we got to be loud with these apologies, man. We got to be loud with these apologies because, damn it, you ruined somebody's name. I don't think people really understand what that allegation does. It ruins somebody's name. And there will forever be people who will always associate you with that creepy and disgusting crime because somebody lied. And anybody who makes a false sexual allegation deserves the crime, deserves the punishment that would go to the person who was guilty of the crime. If you did it, you're going to sit down for a while. You're going to have to come out of a lot of money. If you falsely accuse it, you deserve the same thing. Because we're playing with people's lives. We're playing with people's ability to make money. And we're ruining relationships. It's disgusting. Especially when it's rooted in a money grab. Or you're a bitter, scorned ex. Come on, man. Don't do no stuff like that. It's disgusting. It's low, weak human behavior, man. Like, it just makes me sick that that women can do that to men, especially women to men, because that's what we see so often when they don't get their way. And again, it goes back to what I talked about with Jussie. When we have these false victims, right? It weakens the statement of every true victim. It kills it because it's like, why would I trust you when I've seen this happen over and over and over again? Exactly. It takes away the trust of those who deserve it, man. And I'll tell you, it's just a sad place, man. It's a super sad place. And I hope as a society, we move on from it because it's Me Too truly struggles enough to have their voices heard. And we don't need these false prophets. We don't need these fake martyrs going out here and killing the voices of true victims. I don't like it. So I was listening to Joe Budden and company discuss this album by King Crooked and Joel Ortiz called The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse. And they bring on Royce 5'9" to talk about it because Royce and Joe were in Slaughterhouse and the group like doesn't exist anymore. And pretty much Crooked and Joel wanted to tell their story, and they kind of weaponized the relationship with Joe and Royce to build up some hype, diss them a little bit, and to try to sell the album. That's what I take from it. But I'm not going to get too deep into that because I don't really care. And I do want to talk about the friendship piece, right? It's like when things don't go your way, are we now not friends? Because, hey, they tried to get the band back together. Hey, I got this deal. I got that. Let's go work. And they don't get the business right. So two go work and the other two don't. And then when you listen to them talk, you hear things about, yeah, we really wasn't even friends like that. You know what I mean? You was on this, I was on that. And then when you're on the other side of that, you go, dang, man, I thought we were friends. This really hurts my feelings. You know, so I say, like, man, when things don't go your way, we ain't friends no more. It's like, were we ever friends? We just a rap group because I felt like this was a bond, a brotherhood, a friendship, but no. It was really just a rap group. You know, we ain't family. I'm happy, but again, I'm happy I know now. Rather than have you in my wedding party plotting on my wife. I mean, you know, I thought when we was out here making these hits, making these hit records, going on tour, making these memories, having a good time, selling these albums and stuff, this was all family. But no, it wasn't that. It was just a business partnership. And that's okay. Because trust me, man, I've gone through it. And I think we all at this point in our lives, if you're anywhere close to my age of, you know, a wise sage of 30, oh boy. You understand that you've had friendships that you thought were friendships for life, and they were friendships for a short life. You know, you thought they were friendships of love and they were friendships of convenience. You know, you thought that y'all would grow together, but you grew apart, man. And then when things aren't on the up and up, you start to hear things that are said about you. You even start to say some things that, you know, you may have thought and felt, but you kind of kept them in a box because you were caring about that person, you were caring about that relationship. And then you get to the point to where it's like, well, if we ain't brothers, we ain't brothers. So why should I cover you and be a brother for you? You know, why should I look out for you when you never looked out for me? And I'm not going to lie to you. The things that I've gone through with people who I thought were friends, who I feel, I can say feel betrayed by, because my feelings are still hurt by a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm sensitive. Is that I got trust issues, man. I got trust issues. When you let somebody into the fold so close and so tight, and then when it doesn't work out, that's one thing. You know, when the friendship just, I'm not into the same stuff you into. I don't want to be around the same people you want to be around. That's cool. But then when certain things get said and you go, hey, bro, I would never say that about you. I would never do that to you. Were we ever friends? Were we ever friends? Did you just tolerate me to torment me? Like, what about you made you this way? What did I do? Because I like to look back at myself. What could I have done better? Did I do something to you to make you feel like you had to act this way towards me? It happens one time, it happens two times, then you start to go, maybe it is me. Maybe I am the problem. Okay, what traits am I displaying that make people want to distance themselves from me in a way that is toxic, and not toxic in the sense that like, no, yeah, because some things are abrupt and nasty, and you go, what? That didn't happen yesterday. So what was it? And then I think after I did all the self-evaluation, I go, well, it was just a temporary thing. The relationship that we built for the time that we built it was amazing. I use it as a learning experience. But and the big thing I learned from it is when you see the warning signs early, listen. When you see the things that turn you off, get out the bed. Don't say, oh, maybe it'll get better next time. It's not. Oh, they just having a bad day. No, that's who they are. And when you see what people are capable of doing to people who you think that they hold in high regard, and you go, oh man. Don't think you're special, because you can be treated the same way. The same nasty things that they say to you, they can say about you. The same way they can cut somebody off without explanation, without a real conversation, they can do the same thing to you. The way they can trash somebody on social media, in their private circles, in public circles, wherever the hell they may want to do it, they can do the same to you. And if you don't believe that, you're naive. And I say thank God for growth. Thank God for these experiences, because again, yes, you go through questioning yourself. You go through questioning the person. You go through all these different range of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But finally, I just land on thank God for growth. And when I looked at that Slaughterhouse piece, I was listening to it and I was really freaking triggered. Because I'm like, dang, bro, we really built up this brand. We built up this band. We built up this thing, this bond, these memories. And now I look back on like it was all a dream. Because it was something of the past that felt so real, but it was fake. Sometimes dreams come into real life, and that's what I think fake friendships are. When it ends, bro, it was just a bad dream, man. When it was a bad dream, it was just a dream. Because what we had, it wasn't real. And if you're in some fake friendships, if you being that fake friend of somebody, stop. Don't do it, man. Move on. But man, let's talk about Kanye versus the world. So Kanye, he was really busy on the internet, man. He was really busy on the internet. Yesterday it's going crazy. And so many people have so much to say about it, and I just can't. I just can't really get down with the stuff that people are saying. What is this? Please stop with this narrative. You were just here this morning picking the kids up for school. Okay. Well, we got some new Kanye stuff as we're recording. Gotta love it. But let's go to the stuff we already have. All right, let's kill this dead air. Come on. Do the locomotion with me. I really want to talk about that post. Let's see. Are we here? No. Jesus Christ. Let's see if I can find the post. All right, we're gonna start with this TikTok stuff.
I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney, I have a say so. And then when people say, "Oh, they're going to use this for you in court," I didn't have a say so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not. There's no such thing as 50-50 custody with in society today. That's not even. It always leans towards the mom. But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, everybody. So when we had the Donda 2 release in Miami, I got a flight for all my kids to come from Calabasas to come in Miami to see the kids. Then assistant hit me and said, all the kids, they said the kids are there. When the plane took off, I got a text from Kim that said, North won't be on the plane. You see, this is the kind of stuff that's just like the Chicago birthday party. And I'm glad that y'all saw in the variety piece what I have to deal with. Here go another thing. The Doves high school basketball game. We hold one in California. My daughter loves basketball. I want her to see the league that her father is starting. North can't go to that game. Now we got Sunday service this morning at 10 a.m. and it's North had a sleepover, so she can't come to Sunday service. I moved the Sunday service up to 10 a.m. So I called different people I knew, and the best advice I got right now was from Tory Lanez, and he just said to pray and ask for God to speak through me. I got 4 children, and there's so many people who don't have a voice and have the opportunity to be able to speak up, and just, God, if it is in your will, touch the people.
All right, so I want to kind of respond to this. Him speaking on being restricted from his children. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I'm going to take this instance and talk about it holistically. Okay, a parent restricting another parent from one of their kids is disgusting. It truly is. And if you're using the children to get back at the former significant other, that's awful, because the kids don't deserve that. Hey, I'm a product of divorce. I grew up in a broken home. Yeah, I grew up in a broken home. If you know me, you know that. And I have immense amount of respect for my mom and my dad, because for the most part, they handled everything like mature adults. And whatever stuff they did that wasn't mature, I didn't know about it. They kept it hidden from me, and they handled it amongst themselves. Now, sure, that both of them do some things that they could have done better. Absolutely, because they're human beings and nobody's perfect here. But what neither of them did was take the flaws and faults of the other one, their issues with the other one, out on me. And based on the conversations that I've had with the both of them, they did not use me as a pawn in their game of chess. And if Kim or Kanye is using the kids, the access to the kids as a pawn in the game of chess, that's terrible. And it's even worse that it's being publicized, because idiots like me can come out here and talk about it and have an opinion on it. And as their kids get older, they can hear the things that people have to say. They can see the things that their parents have done and put out in reference to them. And sometimes kids don't need to see the nasty scars on their parents' arms, okay? They don't need to see the video of them getting cut to form those scars. And I think this internet era has made us feel like we have to share any and everything. The internet gives us an outlet. If the person that we're trying to talk to will not speak directly to us, we can put this out there in hopes that it gets to them. And I love it in rap beef. Yeah, that's entertaining. When it's about rap and it's not about like murder and violence, I don't support that. That's entertaining. And when you're entertaining, I love to be entertained. But when it comes to real things that are gonna have lifelong effects on other people, man, let's be careful about how we put that on the internet. Let's be careful what we make the internet's business, because guess what, Kanye? It is not my business that you can't see your children. It's not my business that you feel like Kim Kardashian is weaponizing the kids to get back at you. It's not my business that you could be weaponizing the media to get back at her. It's not my business. But once you make it my business, I'm going to talk about it. And he talked about in another piece how he wasn't able to choose the school that the kids go to, that Tristan doesn't get to pick the school that his kid goes to, and hopefully Travis gets to pick the school that their kids go to. And I take that to say that the Kardashians are manipulating the media. They are creating the narrative. Because guess what? They create the narrative around their lives. So why would they not create the narrative around their kids' lives and the lives of those who are in their circle, in their bubble? See, the thing about having a kid with somebody is it goes way deeper than marriage. Because when you're married to somebody, you get a divorce, your lives are over together, and you go your separate ways. But when you have a kid, it's like that little piece of glue that you just can't get off. You can't get that one little piece of glue off the wall. No, because you are always going to be stuck to that person. You're going to be stuck to that person forever. And it takes me to this post that I saw. It got put in a group this week. And it says, y'all be acting like casual sex doesn't affect you. He put the wrong effect. But everybody I know with high body counts is mentally messed up in one way or another, especially the women. Now, I'm not going to speak for the women or about the women, because one thing I do know is it is not my job to speak on women and what goes on in women's lives. I can only speak about what black men go through because I am a black man, okay? But I hate when people post stuff like this, because my initial blind antennas go, you are just trying to get somebody who wants you. You were just trying to get some. Yes, he gets us. Low body counts. Meanwhile, he's up there trying to run his body count up because he's not satisfied with him. Now, do I think there is something to spreading yourself in multiple places and having what they call them soul ties with a lot of people? Sure. I think that is a thing. But I think if you are speaking to people's mental stability and you're using like sex as like the barometer, or sexual partners as the barometer for that, I think it's pretty short-sighted. I think it's cheap. I think it's lazy. I look at people who grew up like me and my friends were having this conversation. I'm like, man, the absence of my father in my house has impacted my life way more than my body count has. It's gonna be honest. Like, I think the way that I was raised, and my mom did a hell of a job raising me, but the way she raised me has had more of an impact on my mentals than my interactions with women. Don't get me wrong, my sexual interactions with women have shaped who I am today. Yes, that is true. But I think there are other things that happen that for me that have happened in my life that have taken more of a just way heavier than sexual relations. And I want to know what his sample sizes were from, like what kind of research did he do? Like what demographics did he hit? What is a high body count? I just think that is such a cheap, broad statement that can sound so deep and shallow at the same damn time that the internet eats it up. But dog, what are you actually saying? I think that's too short for a tweet. I think maybe that should be a podcast. Maybe that should be a Clubhouse discussion. Maybe that should be a wisdom discussion. Check me out on the wisdom at Big Baby the Goat. Maybe that should be something, that you kind of, you workshop and you actually test it out, because there are so many variables in there that you're not addressing, and there's not a way to control that experiment. There's no way to make each experiment the same. It's not duplicable. You can't do it over and over again, because we all come from different places. We all deal with sex differently. We all deal with spreading our soul ties differently. Some of us get more attached than others. Some of us get attached to some of us forget their names the next day. To some people, a body count of 7 is high. To others, a body count of 30 is low. All of these things are relative. So what the hell is he saying? Yeah, we just shouldn't have as much sex with as many people. And he's probably right. That's the thing. He's probably right, but his reasons for getting on, I don't know. I was going to get into Kanye versus DL Hughley and Kanye versus Pete, and I just don't want to do that. I really don't. Like, I'll tell you, man, these Kanye topics, they're great discussion topics, but I just think it's so damn messy to sit here and gossip about somebody's failed marriage, somebody's custody battle. And I think it's even worse when you hear some of the stuff these people are saying. Oh, he is mentally. Man, let's get into DL Hughley. DL Hughley wants to talk about because he made jokes about Kanye, pretty much saying that, you know, Kanye is allowed to do the things that he does because of his success, which is probably true. And Kanye didn't really take too kindly to that. I mean, DL said he wouldn't be getting no women if he wasn't a great producer and stuff like that. I can't speak to that. I don't even want to play this. But yeah, he said, we're going to stop letting practicing drug addicts be used by leftist Willie Lynch for our future. By leftists to Willie Lynch our future. Black people with our own opinion are not allowed to speak in public. I am the glitch, DL. God does not like you. You have no favor. Your family hates you, and I would hate to be related to somebody who used to be famous. Now you just known as a broke pawn. At least Oprah got billions, allegedly. Come on, leftists. Y'all got to do better than DL. This yay. Bring the real smoke, baby. Show your real face. Charlemagne just hit the same. Charlemagne just don't hit the same, do we? Who y'all gonna get now? God is with us, and now you send DL to be against us. You've lost. No brilliant Hebrews will bow to y'all no more. Only dumbasses. Only dumbass drug addict house nigga. Don't play me. Don't play with God. Anybody related to DL, call Chris McClain at Adidas for Yeezys. They not free though. We running a business over here. We just getting ran. You see Skeet missing work. Anybody else want to play with me? Please, for the love of God, come and get me. Let's see how it turns out. Then Van Lathan put out a tweet, spoke to DL Hughley this AM. He doesn't think the threats to his family or professional slander are funny and is going to deal with them accordingly. He told me he will be making a statement very soon as well. Boy, it's funny when the joke's on the comedian. It's crazy when the rabbit's got the gun, now, comedian. Y'all want to make jokes all day, and then when somebody has a joke, you want to get upset. So then DL tweets back, it's too bad that you're acting like a nut won't stop Pete from busting one. My laughs. I got rid of my laughs, but there we go. Then he goes, ain't it weird? Kanye supposedly has all these goons who will kill for him, but not one of them will get his prescriptions filled. Here's a thought. While you're on the way to kill me in Calabasas, how about somebody drop by CVS and pick up his Xanax? LOL, Team DL. You know, DL, make your jokes. Get your jokes off. But when you start making jokes, don't be shocked when the jokes come back your way. And if you can make your post saying what you say, Kanye can make his same post saying what he says, and you should have to just deal with it even if you don't like it. All right, here I go, siding with Kanye, maybe, possibly, probably. But, yo, we got to stop. We have got to stop trying to silence people who have different views as us. Sorry, everybody's not going to just hop on the agenda of the liberal left, okay? Some of us look at that agenda and say, that's bullshit. Oh, those are crumbs of a cracker, and I don't want those. I do not want to be breadcrumb alone. Give me the whole loaf. Give me the whole ream of crackers so I can eat and get full. And then Charlamagne the God comes out today and he hits Kanye with Donkey of the Day. Likely story. There we go. Let's continue to step on this man while we can, because media framing matters. Shaping a narrative matters. The Kardashians control the media. They control narratives. And when things don't go their way, we make people seem crazy because it goes against what we want to hear. Oh, we don't like this. Oh, let's call him crazy. We call Chappelle crazy. Oh, that nigga's crazy. We call him Kanye crazy. Oh, that nigga crazy. Well, I'm not saying he's the most mentally stable human being in the world, but hell, who am I to judge that? And what is mentally stable? He's amassed a fortune of over $1 billion. He's running a school. He makes great music. He's innovative. Fashion lines. Very successful. And yeah, do I think the balance of his brain is different from most of ours? Yes, because being that great at so many things, it's hard to be balanced, okay? His balance is a different balance than mine. His comfort zone is different than mine. It's different than yours. It's one that I don't think a lot of us can understand, but I'm just over calling him crazy because we don't understand where he's coming from and we don't like what he's saying. Because again, we don't know the stuff that's going on underneath it. Maybe I'm just being an apologist and I'll admit that and I'll accept that. And don't get me wrong, that whole God's favorite thing, I thought that was weak. You don't know what God thinks. You don't know what God knows. You're not God. You are Kanye West. So you should just keep being Kanye West and stop acting like God. But it ain't no fun when the rappers got the gun, DL. That's all I gotta say. Last thing I'm going to hit, though, is Ryan Coogler apparently got detained for trying to rob a bank after handing over his ID and writing a note on the deposit slip or on the withdrawal slip saying, hey, will you please count it in the back so that people don't see me coming out of here with $12,000? Pretty smart, responsible. And then they call the police. I think everyone involved should be fired. Why the hell would you do that? He gave you his identification. He had all the correct account information. And people were first they were trying to make it a race thing. And then it turned into the bank teller was black. Oh, the cop was black. I don't give a damn if they was green, purple, red, yellow, black, or white. If you're mistreating people, then you deserve to deal with the consequences. If you are stereotyping people for no reason, you deserve to, deal with the consequences. If somebody asks me to give them some of their money and they give me the information that says it's their money, hell, what robbers wear ski masks, they don't present ID cards. And maybe because it was Atlanta, they deal with so much fraud and stuff, they think he's a scammer and stole somebody's identity. But damn, you could Google him. I think he told him to just Google him. He's Ryan Coogler, Black Panther, Space Jam. One of the biggest black voices in Hollywood. Come on now. Come on, Atlanta. We supposed to be new Hollywood, black Hollywood, a black man's paradise. We got to be better than that, Atlanta. We got to put the ball on. But hey, look, I'm going to go on somewhat of a hiatus-ish. I'm going to take a week off. So what we're going to do is I'm going to record another pod later this week. I'm going to run it next week, but it's going to be a 2-pod week for us. And then we'll fire back with some good stuff once I get back home from a week off of traveling. Okay, man? Love y'all. Y'all have a good one, man.